Here I am just starting to draw in some of the mass shapes, keeping it real simple. And so here everything is kind of massed in into a simple tone. This is my setup, and as you can see, I decided not to do the blue and white vase because I felt it took too much attention away from the green jar and the trumpet vines. So I decided to change it to a brass vase, which I'm painting here. I'm using combinations of raw umber, yellow ochre, some cadmium yellow medium or cad yellow pale to go lighter. I'm keeping the colors pretty simple, the values, and just a light, medium, and dark value. And then once I get the form established, I'll start to introduce some temperature shifts. But right now I'm just concentrating on getting a strong light and shadow on this brass vase. To make brass shiny, you need to have a lot of value change between the highlight area and the area surrounding it. That's what's going to make something shine. So starting to put in some background here. I'm using black, yellow ochre, a little bit of alizarin crimson for my background color. I love to work wet into wet, so I am trying to keep my edges wet so I can soften edges. If you noticed, I put a little pinky tone surrounding the highlight. That's where I start to introduce some temperature shifts, so it's not just values of yellow. So moving on to the other little brass cup with the grapes. Again, the same color mixture, is just keeping it really simple right now, into light, medium, and dark value. I'm using French ultramarine and transparent oxide red for the colors of the grapes, just to mask them in. These are some green leaves that are breaking that plane of the drape. I love the cast shadows. That's a really interesting shape. So here I'm starting the vase, putting in the shadow. I'm using probably Viridian, some French ultramarine, maybe some transparent oxide, and even maybe a little bit of alizarin crimson in the dark color. For the lighter area, I probably mix some Viridian, French ultramarine, some yellows in there. You can see as I go lighter, I get a little bit cooler because I'm lighting this with a cool light source. That was a 5000 K bulb, so when I have a cool light source, I have warm shadows. And again, that's all relative. Even a violet can feel warm against a cold blue. So I like to work my way up, like I'm stepping upstairs to keep going lighter and lighter. I concentrate on creating form first, and then once I get the form, I start to introduce little subtle color shifts. As you can see there, I put in a little bit of orange from the reflection of the trumpet vines. So I'm moving back now to the brass. I am introducing some greens into that so it feels harmonious with the green vase. painting is like a puzzle to me, a little piece here, a little piece there, until the whole thing comes into view. So here now I'm massing in just a shape of green. I'm not painting, when I mass things into the beginning, I don't see it as leaves. I just see a mass of green, or I see a mass of orange. And these trumpet vines, for the dark, I'm using probably alizarin crimson and a little bit of raw umber. For the lighter areas, I'm using cadmium red, cadmium orange, a little bit of white, maybe even a little bit of alizarin crimson to cool it a bit. So here, as I mass in the other trumpet vines, you can see I'm trying to create this connected shape so that the trumpet vines feel a little bit more connected, and they're not just, each one is just an island unto itself. Starting a little cup. You can see how much reflected color I've put into that cup in the bottom. I've pulled a lot of red up into it. Again, building up to more lights. That cast shadow was one connected shape. It's not three individual cast shadows, it was one dark shape. Starting to paint the rug, I do like to keep some of that underpainting, that first wash of paint that I put down kind of coming through. It gives the illusion of that the rug is a bit threadbare. Starting to lighten the top plane. And the lightest plane, the lightest area of that rug is going to be where the plane changes. Your highlights will always hit on a plane change. So here I am increasing or bringing the value up a little bit on that plane change. Increasing those cast shadows from those leaves. Again, that's a really important shape because it does break that long plane of the drape creates a more interesting shape. Throwing some reds into the vase so that feels harmonious with the rug. So now I'm going back to the shadow shape of the vase, kind of reinforcing some things. Look at that cast shadow from the little brass cup connects to the cast shadow on the rug.